Hi, how y'all doing? Figured I'd make a small video on how I train, or how I try to train and practice in preparation for competitions. Just give you a basic run through and walk down of it without having to show you. Usually what I'll do, starting out first thing in the morning or early afternoon, whenever it is I get up here, I'll take and throw close to 40 to 50 sets from each distance just to get warmed up and dialed in. Probably do that once or twice. If you do it once, you know, about 50 from each, you're looking at I don't know, 6 times 50, that's 300 throws. If you do it twice, it's 600 throws. And then usually what I'll do after that is whatever I'm having issues on, if it happens to be the top block or center block from whatever certain distance it is, I'll just start throwing 3 knives into it, try to get dialed in and tuned in. And sometimes I'll just go ahead, starting out from half all the way to 3, just throw 3 knives each into the block, just to more or less get an idea of how to dial in and center in on the center mass, that 5-point bullseye or 4-point ring. In my practice here as of lately, I've been trying to focus on half through 2-spin mainly. I guess my theory on this is if you can milk as many points as you possibly can out of the 7-foot to 6 and 15 foot distance, which is half through 2-spin, once you get to 2.5, you can just start dropping them in and hoping maybe you can hit 3 to 4 to no less than 3 to 4-point rings. Bullseyes would be nice, but that's pretty much well the rundown on it. I won't score myself majority of the time. I only score myself maybe once or twice tops, no more than 3 times by the end of the day. Whatever that adds up to be, whether it be a 250 something or 260 or 270, etc., I will go ahead and deduct a 15 to 20 point decrease on that, just minus 15 to 20 off at the least to get an average. And the reason why I do that is more or less whenever you get in competition, you know, your nerves are going to be kind of shaky, all eyes are on you. It's just you know, you got people watching. You try to shake that feeling off and try to get in the mindset of like, well, I'm just in my backyard or on my range throwing. Something that I've found that kind of helps me whenever I go to events. I mean, I've only been to 2, but each time I've went, I've not really treated them as a competition. I just look at it as a get-together of similar, like-minded people that have a passion for throwing sharp, pointy objects into wood blocks or targets. So I look at it as like a social gathering of friends and acquaintances all getting together to have a good time. Because I've found that if I start thinking of it as like an actual competition, or event, this freaks me out. It throws my mindset off, gets my mentality all out of whack, and that's pretty much well it. And something that I've been experimenting around with in my training is getting out of the habit of bad muscle memory reflex training. Meaning there are certain things that you can do that will affect your performance. One thing that I've been trying to break the habit of is rocking forward and slouching on throws. And anytime you rock forward, slouch, or bend the knees and follow through too much, it's going to put you further away from the target. And you know, hey, that works for some. I mean, if it's working, go for it. You got to stick to comfortability and what works best for you. But in theory, rule of thumb is if you can clean up your form, your stance, and your technique, and get to where you're kind of more straight posture, less movement. It puts you closer to the target, and the closer to the target you are, the more accurate you can be. And something I also do is, depending on what distance I'm throwing from, I'll take notes of how they're sticking and try to make adjustment on grip, because grip inconsistency can kill you on rotation. The worst thing you ever want to see, especially throwing from a 2.5 and 3 spin, is over-rotated and under-rotated knives. Especially under-rotated, because you under-rotate and don't quite hit tip, you're just going to bounce. You can get away with a little over-rotation on those further distances, but it's best to try to get as straight as you possibly can. So I will try to make notes of what, changes I need to make on the grip, whether I need to choke down on the handle, maybe choke up a little bit. Try to be mindful of how much force and power I'm putting behind it. And with all that being said, I'll give you a rundown. I'll throw one set. I'm not going to score myself. I'll go ahead and throw the set. I'll walk up, zoom in on the knives, and you can draw your conclusions from there on what I scored on that round. But that being said, we're going to hop into it. I'm not going to make any promises on a great performance here, because I've just been having some issues today. I don't know if it's a matter of it being kind of hot and smuggy, or just not getting well rested. But we'll see what happens. Plus, this is something that I guess I'm doing more or less to try to shake the feeling of all eyes being on me in competition. Something else I forgot to mention whenever you get into a competition environment, whenever it comes to score dropping and deducting my 15 to 20 points, it may not necessarily be the mindset of, all eyes upon you, tweaking and getting your nerves out of whack, but a lot of it could have to do with range unfamiliarity. Sorry, I can't talk. Overlook me, but so just keep that in mind too. If you can, when it comes to an event, try to get there at the least 3 days early, so you can check out the throwing lanes, get the feel of them. But try to replicate competition environment as closely as you possibly can at your home ranges. That way you won't have to worry about showing up 3 or 4 days early and getting used to the feel of everything. Well, that being said, let's go ahead and throw a couple of sets here. I'll start out at half spin. My half spins have been right at 7 feet since I've cleaned my stance and form and posture up. Hopefully I won't bomb coming straight out of the gate here, but we'll see what happens. It'll probably be a definite 15. I'll walk the camera down here. I would try to zoom in on that, but I do not have a tripod. It's kind of hard for me to hold that steady. You probably can't see what black is on there, but if there was black still there from where I'm throwing, that would have definitely broke the profile of that bullseye for a 5. Still have some black here, so that would be a 5. And I have broke the bottom profile on that half spin for 5. What I'm doing here is, this ring right here is 3. Anything that's in this area is 3. This area here would be 4, and that would be 5. I really wish I had a stencil to do the actual octagonal point scoring system for IKTHOF, that I don't at the moment. So we can go ahead and say that that's a definite 15 starting out. Just for the sake of argument, we'll call 14 because that is kind of low. Yeah, it'll be a 14. We'll call 14 and be modest. Usually on my halves, I've been getting no less than 14. It's nice to get a perfect 4 sets of half spin. Let's throw a couple from full spin. Hopefully I won't bomb coming out of the gate on that. Like I said, if you're having an issue on a certain set height or block, just spend a little time on it, whatever distance it is. You got more than one knife, especially if you're throwing straight metal like I am, just take 3 or 4 knives and throw into the same target from whatever height and distance it is it's giving you problems. It'll help you dial in. Well, let's go ahead and throw some full here and see what happens. That's going to be a 14. I don't think I've got any lower than a 13 on bad days, but we'll walk it down here and show you. Right there is a for sure 5 this time. Broke the bottom of the circle if it would have been there. Pretty much dead on that one. And like I said, that's not touching the black, so I can't count that. So we got a 14 there. Now we'll play around from 1.5. Just for sake of length on this video, we'll probably just go to 2.5. I would try my luck at some 3 spin, but I'm still trying to get used to the changes and adjustments I've made in form and stance, and not quite got zeroed in and dialed in on that yet. I would hate for you guys to see me have a rage quit on camera, but let's go ahead and throw some 1.5. So, on my 1.5, it looks like I'm going to have a definite 13. Walk it down here and I'll let you be the judge of it. Anytime you think I might have hit better than what I have or have called it wrong, you can call me out in the video. We've hit right on the black ring, so that's going to be a 3. Barely touching the bullseye on that for 5. And we got some black on that for 5 as well. So 13, it happens. You can't throw perfect 15s and get them nice 14s, but go ahead and throw another distance here.